scarfing out my food right now.
Yeah. There you go. And that's a way to start off a podcast, scarfing down food.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Welcome to episode 2 of the Sentence to Greatness podcast.
Right.
I'm excited for this one.
Me too, man. Me too. Definitely.
We got our first guest on. The guest is going to be the owner and creator of Condemned Labz, Michael. Not only is he the creator and owner of Condemned Labz, the ex-bodybuilder, type 1 diabetic, entrepreneur. So I'm super excited to kind of get to find out more about him and the background and how Condemned came, into the world. So I'm super excited for that.
Let's dig in deep. Let's dig in deep and pull it all out.
Get his deep, dark secrets. Maybe get some dirt from him. Maybe we'll get him to spill the beans on some new products that are up and coming and stuff like that. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll see what we can get out of him.
Definitely.
All right. So without any further ado, let's bring Michael in. Let's see. Boom.
Hey.
There he is.
You hear us?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey,
Not much, man.
Good. Am I in here and officially on here or no?
Yes, you're officially on.
All right, cool. I don't do some volume and stuff like that. Make sure. How's everything going? Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, man.
How you doing?
Everything's going well, man. I really can't complain about much. Just keeping busy as always,
Oh yeah.
We're super excited. Super excited for this one. Super excited to talk to you. Kind of get some more background info on you and kind of, answer some questions to a lot of people on how Condemned Labz started. Because I feel like it just kind of like, for a lot of people, it appeared in the industry out of nowhere. I feel like it went from like, when we started or, when I came onto the team, it was like nobody really knew much about it yet to like now you see them everywhere. You say like, hey, what do you use? Condemned? Oh, I love their pre-workout or, it's just so much more mainstream. So it's pretty cool to see that. So it'll be cool to get to know like how that all came about,
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, man, I want to thank you two guys, guys like you on the team helping us expand the line, grow the brand, athletes like you guys make my job a lot easier where I could turn around and you guys kind of grabbing the bull by the horn and even attacking this podcast. When I first launched the brand in 2016, before we even had a website up, the first thing I did was go out and buy top-notch podcast equipment. And I had all intentions on, launching a podcast, giving out information. It wasn't going to be only supplements and fitness. It was going to be like just a little bit of everything, lifestyle, business, but I mean, everything kind of always relates back to fitness. And it just, I thought, we had all these big, great ideas. And all of a sudden, like the trials and tribulations of like owning a business and starting a business and getting it off the ground were, hard. So, I commend you guys for jumping on board, doing this, always presenting, the brand in a positive light and even bringing this on because I could see now, even from the first episode, the depth of the topic of, post competition depression. I think it's something we just don't even talk about, so I was like, this is a great topic to start off. Maybe not the best topic to start on the first podcast because you guys like getting comfortable in front of the camera and talking to each other. And, Marcel, I could see you're a good interviewer right away. Isaac, you seem like a deer in headlights initially, but then you came right out of your shell. But I like the juice of the content because it's something that you don't even realize. I was like, damn, man, I remember my show. I was going 150 miles an hour. It's like I pulled the e-brake and hit the airbag. I didn't even know what to do with myself afterwards to the point where you almost want to jump in another show, right? Like you don't even know what to do. So that was a really great topic, man. And I appreciate you guys doing that. So yeah, Condemned is going on 6 years strong. February will be at 6 years that we incorporated the business. And then, February 2022. And then I think either June or July was like when we first received the first allotment of products. So that to me is like a real 6-year anniversary, right? Like there's 6 months of like trying to get products in between then and figuring out R&D and things of that nature. So, I mean, Condemned's been around for a while. And somebody just actually asked me the other day, like, hey, where'd you come up with the name Condemned? And, I just...
that's a good question.
Yeah, so I had this like quote for myself because I was always known for when I competed to come in very conditioned. So I had this thing like condemned to conditioning, right? Like, because a lot of people at the time in the bodybuilding space, you'll see a lot of guys that are like either really big or you see a lot of guys just weren't really conditioned. And that I knew what it took to bring my body into that conditioning. It was always more of a size game for me to be more competitive, right? So,
right.
When I started the brand, we started the brand and then we came up with, Condemned Labz, and how my spin on it was the jail themes and stuff like that almost get portrayed in a sentence, like getting up every day, having a very regimented structure, doing the same thing day in, day out, over and over again. And then what keeps you, whether it was getting out of jail, is that little motivation to keep you, out of there, or if it's putting on half an inch on your biceps at the end of the year. It was this little incremented things that take a long period of time to build. And, for bodybuilding, for me, I'm always going to keep the brand hardcore. I think bodybuilding is hardcore. There's nothing pretty about tearing muscle down and building it back up, whether you're a female fitness competitor, a bikini competitor. Everybody's breaking down muscle fibers, feeding themselves food, and doing all these extra things to make their body change. It's not a normal process. When you go talk to somebody on the outside and they see you walk around with your cooler and lugging around a jug of water, they're like, what? And then they don't even have any idea what you're doing in the gym, right?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah, the condemned to conditioning translated to Condemned Labz, and it was just being almost set. And then Sense the Greatness was almost like an instant tagline, right? Run a line with it. I mean, you can only do so many things with brands. Like I saw the Dungeons, the Dragons, the military, the this, that. We just wanted to be different because we knew we were going to put out different products. So that's where that kind of came about. But I mean, the brand's been like 5 or 6 years strong. And how I initially started it, that must stop me anytime you guys want, if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, before you get into that, there's something that I wanted to jump into before we get there. Okay. Because, we all know you as the Michael, the owner of Condemned Labz, right? Like that's what anybody that knows you, that's pretty much what they know you for right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to know is like, who was the Michael before Condemned? What were you doing? Where did you even come up with the idea, or like, where did you even begin to think that getting into this, mudded out industry where it's like, this is a good idea to put my savings into, or wherever, I don't know if it was your savings or where you got the money to initially start it, but it's such a mudded out industry. I feel like there's so much competition. It's not like one of those like, oh, this is a great idea to jump into. No, like you're jumping in with the sharks. You're jumping into the deep end because there's just so much. So, let's start off by like, who was the Michael before Condemned? What were you doing? I know you were a bodybuilder and stuff, but let's dive back a little bit before that.
Yeah. So if we rewind a little bit further down, and I'll go in steps, right? So in 2011, I owned my own supplement store with Dominic Cardone, who was one of the youngest pros on the circuit at the time. We were training together, and we opened a supplement store, and it was called Aggressive Nutrition. And we had a very hardcore spin on things. It's now Natural Body Brooklyn. They wind up buying it from us. But for 3.5 years, we did the supplement store. And I'll tell you, man, just having a very unique store, a very unique look, carrying things like Automix footwear, gas clothing. This is before anybody had this stuff. Like nobody was willing to stock these items, but we had that hardcore twist. And, we carried hardcore brands. And I was sponsored by Muscle Tech in, I want to say 2009, so I was one of their athletes, so I was carrying their products in the store. And, just after a while, I was selling some of these products, and I went up walking away from that sponsorship because I didn't really believe in what I was taking. And then being in the supplement store, Dominic and I were very selective. We wouldn't bring a product in unless we thought it was good or unless it was a super high demand. And then, after doing that for 2 or 3 years, I'm like, man, I think I could formulate these things better. Being a type 1 diabetic, having a competitive pedigree in the bodybuilding space, winning a few shows. And those New York shows were like mini national shows at the time. They were very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great bodybuilders come out of there, And, I finally said, hey, listen, I think I could do this, better. And things were hidden in proprietary blends. That was big then. You didn't know what you were getting. You didn't know how much caffeine you were getting. And I was against that as well. So we were going to a lot of brands that were full transparency label, full disclosure. We wanted to know what we were going to get. And a lot of times what we did was we were sell a lot of items that were, raw materials and individual items that you could kind of stack together so that you kind of had your own synergistic combination. So people want to go and get a pump. We would recommend certain products. I just saw the industry was in this weird space, and then online business was starting to boom. And the problem I was having where Natural Body excelled and took on my store, and it's still open to the day, was because they had the buying power amongst their other stores, and they had the name, where Dominic and I think we were getting smoked online. There was no MAP pricing, minimum advertised price, right, at the time. So you were getting, I was literally going online, customers are coming in, they were coming to our store for the knowledge, and we were selling to them and pointing them in the right direction. But the problem that they were, that we were dealing with was they were going online and then finding online sometimes cheaper than we were getting it from the distributor. So then now I'm going back to the distributors. I'm like, yo, what the heck, man? It was just very hard to grow in that aspect. And at the time, the online space wasn't mapped pricing, properly. Nothing was proper.
Right.
It was all over the place. It was just becoming abundant. And literally, I would go in, my friend's father, I'll never forget this one time. He comes in and he was so argumentative with me, and he was so excited that he got put onto a new product for all these years. He was taking something like BSN, no explode, let's just say, right? And I put him onto this. He would have never found this if he would ever engage in that conversation. And he kind of paid for that knowledge. But then, we sold the pricing fair, and we always offered our customers a 10% discount, which in that space, you realize how tight of a margin it actually was with overhead and things of that nature. So, but he went home and he said, hey, I found this cheaper online. And I'm looking at it online. I'm like, oh shit, that's cheaper than I'm getting it from. I don't know. So should I go buy it online? Then we were, for one short period of time, we were using the shipping as a defense. Well, they're going to charge you $15 shipping. And then the shipping game changed. $4.99. Spend $100, get free shipping, things of that. So we didn't have that excuse anymore. And that's when, Steve and I from Match Body just kind of, just merged at the right time, because we were getting smothered. We didn't know what we were doing inventory wise, managing cash flow, employees, payroll. Plus, we decided to double down and open a juice bar out of it, which became a lot of small ticket items, making juices all day, but a lot more prep work, a lot more cleaning.
Right.
So it's that was my first handle in the business. And then on the way out, when we sold the business, I was able to take that money and I invested the money into another supplement line, and I had a partner at the time. And then that supplement line turned into a third supplement line. And the partner and I, just no issues or anything along those lines. But he had his ways and he was very set on certain things. And two alphas just kind of all right, well, I'm going to do this. And I was getting ready to compete at the time. And, overnight, Condemned Labz was just born like this. And I had all these great ideas that I've implemented to the day. And a lot of them in the product formulas have still carried us this far, And so that's where I came from that. But before the supplement store, I was in the Iron Workers Union from 2014 for about 6.5 years. So I competed, working a union job, carrying heavy steel all day, in some of the biggest establishments in New York City, down in the, Dumbo area. I worked in the Manhattan. I worked on Yankee Stadium, jobs like that. And I did that while competing. So,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how did you handle that? That type of labor job, and then competing, because obviously that's the background I came from as well, and it was difficult. It's not easy. I don't think people understand how hard it is to have a job like that. That's very intense, and then have to actually bodybuild, bring all your food with you, train, wake up early, cardio. So how did you handle that?
I think as it weirdly now, I think I was in such a regimented position that I was more motivated then to prove to myself that I could do it than I am now with a better hand on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like getting up at 5:30 in the morning, shooting to work. The problem was the physical labor, right? I was literally humping rebar all over the place. And then in the summer, you can't hide. It's 110 degrees outside on the rooftop. I'm getting baked. You name it. I got everything. The legs rubbed together to the point where bro, I'm at the doctor getting cream and having yeast infection from that. I'm being serious, bro. 110 degree heat, bro. Your legs are rubbing together. You can't fit in your jeans. You can't take clothes off. That's why I always like the winters better, bro, because I would be able to take layers off as I got hot. And once you start working, but you have that meal before you get there. You have that coffee break. I'll be scarfing down eggs and oatmeal cold like a gorilla. I'm taking cold water, dumping it in my oatmeal, and I'm putting it down. Eggs and just eating it as fast as I can. The lunch break, comes a couple hours later. Then you leave, you go home, and then the first thing you're thinking about is the gym.
Yeah.
Some extra calories. The factory was always feeding me enough at the time. It was definitely feeding me enough food. But I always came in peeled and conditioned, but I think maybe it might hold me back from maintaining some of that size. But it wasn't.
Right.
You're tired.
That's funny you say that, because I remember telling Marcel, I was like, man, it's so much harder for me to get peeled now that I don't do that construction job. I was like, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, finally, we both talked about it one day. It was like, duh, it's because I was just burning fucking calories and walking and all these steps and all this heavy shit like you were talking about,
I think you realize you're resting metabolism. Like, if you know what it is, and then you're doing a job where you're just not moving all day, and, you know, your bosses are running around screaming at you, right? So, like, you can't, like, stop. You got to keep moving even if you make believe you're doing something. So it's like, you know, it was tough, man. I think being outside in the climate's even harder. Most people can't even be outside in the climate like that. You know, you come in from 110 degrees, you know, or a 90-degree day out in the sun all day, and then you hit that air conditioning after the shower, bro. The first thing you're thinking about is
sleep.
The winter from a freezing cold day. You know, I remember walking right outside of Manhattan, right outside the Battery Tunnel, and I was in a one piece like the kid from that shoots his eye out in the Christmas movie, like with the one piece.
Christmas, yeah.
I mean, anytime the boss turns around, you're like, oh, fuck this, I'm not doing shit. You know, you're trying to stay warm, right? Yeah. And it's just the wind's whipping over there and you're freezing. Then you come home to like the heat. It's hard, but I guess I was, you know, a little bit of youth on my side and maybe a little bit more.
And then you're doing that all while, you know, being a diabetic. Yeah. Like, I don't think people realize like how hard that is.
Yeah, I never pull that card, man. But the diabetes is hard, man. You know, everything's math.
Now, how old were you when you started doing the ironworking stuff?
Ironworking union was like 19 to like 26.
Oh, so you were pretty much like out of high school, got into the workforce.
So my mom passed away, and I was in college, and my dad got a call from the union, and the guys at the union said, "Hey, Joe, you've been with us." And my dad had me at a young age. He had me at 18 years old. You know, he was a kid with a kid. So the union reaches out to him and, you know, say, "Joe, you never asked for any favors. Is there anything we could do for you?" And he's like, "I got a son who's like eligible to work." And that was it. Like, it was like the summer of 2004 was my last summer being a kid, because now I was in a job with like men, like knock around guys that have done time. The union houses criminals. So you have guys that have done time. You have guys that are out in the climate, guys that might have not been successful in school, you know, and then you're with these guys, and it's like, it just grows you up very quickly.
It hardens you, doesn't it? It kind of hardens you.
Yeah, like I hear people bitching and complaining that they're off this job making 120 grand a year, and I'm, you know, or whatever, 150. I'm like, man, I didn't, you know, but this was how my family was raised. This is how we were told to work. Now, after seeing the way things are now, you know, there's other ways to go out there and get it now. Those kids are a lot smarter. See kids, you know, 20 years old, man, and not leaving the house. They're on the cell phone, and they're racking it in, and they'll never know that. They'll never know that work ethic, you know?
So do you think that, like, you know, starting so young, and it's in such a, not, I wouldn't say tough world, but like just a tough environment for a kid, because you're still a kid at that age, and, you know, getting put through the ringer, being taught, you know, that you get paid for how hard you work. Do you think that kind of what led you to be able to succeed and, you know, be able to want more rather than just like working for somebody else all the time? Like, did that make you like, I want to have my own business, I want to work for myself? And that's kind of what pushed you to be successful in that aspect. Do you think that just kind of, that's where that came from?
Yeah, I think you move different when you start from humble beginnings, right? And like, that work was physically challenging. It was tough. It had a ceiling. My biggest thing was it had a ceiling. And then at some points when it's really good, you know, Isaac, you know, when it's really good, I don't know about what local were you in?
I was local IBEW 15.
Yeah. So with us, it's like, you know, when the work's there and the overtime's there, the money's good. But then all of a sudden you hit these spots where it's like, boom. Hey, Mike, listen, I know you're a great worker. You show up every day. You're on time. You stay overtime, but we got to lay people off. My first job, I got laid off, and I almost cried. I was a kid. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I didn't like, no, it's the job. It's the business, bro. Like, they're coming to an end.
Yeah.
They're looking for more work. They have another job. You can go to the union hall. And I didn't understand it fully, you know? I'm like, but that was it. It's cold. It's a cold job, you know? And shout out to all my guys in the union right now, still working, still tying rebar, still doing the damn thing, supporting the families, because it's not an easy time. And the unions have lost a lot of the work to non-union now, you know? So I feel bad for them guys. But what that did for me, when I saw the layoffs and I saw the inconsistency, you know, you can go from having 6 months worth of fun, and at that time you're a kid, right? You're not saving money. I'm 19 years old. I'm making like, you know, $100 an hour with my full book. I'm getting full medical benefits, annuity, pension, you know, all this great stuff. And then I got vacation checks that come quarterly. So I'm like hanging out with kids 10 years older than me at the time. I'm living, you know.
Speaking of that, so I know actually you and Isaac kind of have a similar story with that because you guys both were really young when you started, working for the union and making these crazy paychecks for somebody that's that age. Like how well did both of you guys do, like keeping your head on and not going crazy and doing, per se stupid shit with your money? Because don't get me wrong, at 18 years old, 100 or 19 years old, 150 to 200 grand a year. I mean, that's a lot of cash for somebody that age to be handling. So like, how did you guys do with that? Did you guys blow it all? Like, did you start saving? Like, what did you do? Like, where were you at? Come on, you gotta spill some of the beans on that.
I was not a saver. I'm going to tell you that. My parents told me to, and I knew better. I was 21, and I was this young man. I would spend, and I wanted to go out, and then I bought whatever the hell I wanted to get, and it wasn't until the kids came around when I was about 26, 27 is when I was like, oh shit, I better get my shit together here, like reality check came real quick, So right. No, I was lost for a little bit there.
How about you, Michael?
I enjoy myself. I enjoy myself. Like I was in Vegas and Miami every holiday weekend. I remember what it was. I remember coming home with a diamond out Breitling, right? And my dad looking at me. MTV Cribs was around, right? And he's like, hey, young man. He's like, you're going to have to start kicking in rent here. One, I'm wearing a watch that I have no business wearing. Two, I just sorted it out to the gills with diamonds. And that was it. That was the icing on the cake for him. He gave me the lecture. But I mean, I was around older guys hanging out, and he never treated me younger at the time. And these guys are 10 years, older than me. And growing up in Brooklyn is a little bit different than other areas, as I'm learning now in Florida, man. I'm in Pleasantville over here. That's why I wanted to move. I wanted to have a place where I could grow my kids up, something different than I learned. But growing up in Brooklyn and going out and being, everybody's keeping up with the Joneses over there. I got to say one thing. I didn't have to hold back where I saw kids my age, not, I was 2-3 years in college at the time. My dad didn't want me to see this money. He wanted me to go back for like the last semesters of college. And once I got a taste of that money, it just, it was hard to go back. I regret it a little now. I don't know how much it would have helped me, but to go back to the question, man, we blew a lot of it on the wall. We spent a lot, we had cars, watches, chains, great memories, great vacations, all the stupid shit you do as a kid, which I'm glad I did it then though, because there's nothing worse than making the money at 30 and then, doing it at 30, right? So you learn financial discipline as you go, it takes time.
That's true.
So how old were you when you first got your first nutrition store? So how old were you when you got out of the union?
Ooh, so, the union was back and forth. So I was investing in the union. I was investing in the nutrition store, I think, while I might have been still dibbling and dabbling in the union to some degree. I even went back to the union when I had Condemned. I went back to the union. When I had the old supplement line, I got cracked in a lawsuit. They shook me down for all this money. And as I was licking my wounds like a little bitch because I thought I was going to sell whatever Factory and I was selling farms. We had Revolt Pharma, so we were making all the money and we were doing well. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're giving it back in lawsuits, right? So then we had to shut it down because these guys that are sharks are just like closing in on us from every angle. So then we turned around, afterwards I'm like, okay, I got to lick my wounds here and figure something else out. We didn't know any better. And then we went, and when I had Condemned, I was going back and forth with Condemned in the union. It was till I was coming home one day on Instagram. And then I saw like a Condemned Labz UK, right? And I'm going back and forth. I'm working both jobs now. I'm doing the union and I'm doing Condemned. And I'm like, I'm just physically now I'm draining though because the mental stress from, Condemned is more taxing than the physical stress from the union. But putting them both together, it was so much. I was spending my whole nights after I came home working on the brand and then setting everything up for the next day. So I was up early than everybody because I was going to the union, buying myself some time. So by the time I was getting off the job site at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was still able to keep up with most of the workload, but it was just running into the ground. And then I remember the fork at the road. It was when I saw the brand pop up in the UK and I started to see it like it was just growing, and I was like, I got to make a decision. If I want this thing to happen, I got to have 2 feet in. The 1 foot in thing, it's not my style anyway, but I was like also trying to pay bills while investing and growing this. So that was the fork in the road that pulled me to, commit fully to Condemned. And I never really liked working for anybody else anyway, man. I hated work. I was working for guys that weren't as intelligent as I was, that maybe family owned the business. We're in the business forever, taking orders from people that are like it wasn't. There's a lot more ways to do things out here. So I'm a lot smarter than this. Not that I think I'm better than anybody, but I want to try something different. You know, and that was when I made the full decision to commit. You know, Condemned full time.
Right.
Okay. I kind of dealt with this when I moved here to Arizona, and obviously it's not on the type of scale that you were on when you did it, but you know, that commitment to leaving your full-time job that gives you a check every couple weeks, you know, that comfortable state that you're in.
Yeah.
How did you feel transitioning into like Condemned full-time? Like, were you nervous? You know, were you scared? Like, were there any like kind of like regrets at some point in time? You know, like what did you go through? Because I know I struggled mentally, you know, for a few months there, like moving to Arizona, and I was like, holy shit, man, I can't believe I just did this.
Yeah, it's it's fucking scary, bro. It's really fucking scary. There's comfortability in the paycheck. There's security in the paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Right. There might be a ceiling on the paycheck, but there's like when you hold your nose and you jump in, bro, and you realize I don't know how deep this fucking shit is, how far, you know, like. And, you know, when it don't come around, you know, there's that feast or famine, right? If you don't hustle, you don't eat. And, like, when you have that scarcity, you move different, man. You move. And it was scary. Definitely. It was scary to do because where I'm from like a real middle-class neighborhood in Brooklyn, one way in, one way out. If you ask 10 out of 10 people, you know, hey, listen, I got a union job, they talk about it like you hit a lotto ticket. You know what I'm saying? So It's like, oh, the benefits of this, to that. Oh, yes, they sell it, right? And I'm thinking like, damn, this fucking one, I can't even, I got to look at the dinner bill while I'm going out to dinner with my girl. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going on vacation. I'm living that, like, modest honest lifestyle, which is good, right? Like, but, like, I didn't want to be restricted. There's a big world out there. I want to experience everything I can. And not being able to have that I don't know at the end, it was really scary for me, man. It's still scary. To the point where when I moved to Florida, I got a letter in the mail from sanitation. And like that in my neighborhood was like a job, man. That was a great job. And I remember telling Richie, God rest his soul, I said, you know, Rich, I don't know what to do, man. I got called for the sanitation. So I come back to him like New York and take the job and do Condemned. You know, like I know a lot of guys that do double jobs because I was still somewhere programmed in the back of my head. You know, so once I cut that umbilical cord off, you know, I feel like I spread my wings and the brand's been flying ever since. And I'm sure you know, man. And you had kids at the time when you made that move?
Oh, yeah. So it was recently.
Bloody, man. I moved around like playing Cowboys and Indians for a little bit longer than I should. You know, Peter Pan, the Lost Boys never want to grow up. But now I'm in that situation now where, like, you know, I'm starting to, like, hedge my bets. I'm not letting things hit zero before I pick up the pieces. But, you know, to get back to that, man, that play where, like, saying I got to walk away from this and do this, if this isn't going to grow. And the only thing that will happen is people will just keep smoking me. Competitors will keep passing me. And I'm not an excuse maker. I'm not going to say, oh, I could have, should have, would have. So I just grabbed my balls and made the move, man. And it's thank God, because, you know, it's been a couple of years and the brand's really taken some shape, you know, and things are going the way I want them to go. And, you know, for anybody else listening now, you know, don't let people tell you what you have to do. Don't let people program you, especially when times are changing. I mean, look what was hot a couple of years ago, MySpace, right? Oh, this is the biggest thing in the world. Boom. You blink your eye, right? Facebook, right? Nah, it's not going to get better than this. This shit is the shit. You know, next thing you know, you blink your eyes, it's Instagram. And you're like, wait, what happened to Facebook? And next thing you blink your eyes, it's like, you know, Snapchat and TikTok. Like, things change, you know, and you have to be an adaptable person. You never know what's going to happen. But don't let people conform you in old ways. You know, like I said, there's people doing so much crazy shit out here now that you would never think you could make $1 like that. Or, you know, you just got to, you know, perfect your craft, take it serious, put out a good product, and then you got to be all in, you know?
Yeah, it's so, you know, speaking to that, I think one of the questions that somebody asked for you, I from what I remember, was like, what is one of the biggest tips you have for somebody that want to get into their own business and they want to start it? I feel like you just nailed it on the head, right? You think it's just something like, hey, you got to go both feet in, and you got to almost have like no plan B. If you have no plan B, you have no choice, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people will leave so many doors open for themselves, you know, when they know they're going to attempt something hard. So they leave like 10 doors open. So along the path, they can exit at any time. Like, don't leave yourself those doors. You have no choice. You're going to figure out a way to succeed. You know, it's a sink or swim situation. So, you know, if you're thinking about starting your own business or doing something on your own, man, you just got to take that leap of faith. And I mean, as you can see, it's possible. I mean, both Isaac and Michael are doing it. So it's just pretty cool to see that so many people that I've talked to that are business owners, they all say the same thing. It's crazy. They're like, you can't half-ass, and you have to go both feet in. If you don't go both feet in, the business is gonna flutter. It's not gonna prosper. It's gonna flutter. It's gonna, maybe do good, maybe do bad, but it's not gonna move forward. Because at the end of the day, even if you hire people to, take some work off from you, nobody's gonna do this as well as you can. So, and nobody will ever treat your business as it's their own. And if you find a person that can do that for you, I mean, save them. Save them and
better start paying.
Start paying him because
otherwise it won't happen like that,
Yeah. So with that being said, so you got your own supplement store. You got rid of that. You gave the supplement world a crack on your own, and then you finally got this great idea of Condemned Labz, and you start plugging away at it. What's
the basement store? I gotta hear about the basement, man. Like,
oh yeah,
with all the supplements.
A lot of bad things happen to that thing.
Man, you should have seen, like, we would run out of product, and then Michael would be posting pictures of him and like Richie and somebody else, just pulling product. Well, I think it was still in Brooklyn, right? Like pulling product from trucks in the middle of the street, putting down in the basement so they can ship this stuff out,
Operating at a couple of brownstones over there, and we just piled products up to the ceiling eventually, and made a little office space and had it, and we worked at it as well. We made millions of dollars out of there, out of a basement. So like, I don't know what people got going on, but we made millions of dollars out of the basement, and eventually we waited for the seams to burst where we couldn't. We had. Yeah. That's actually how I moved to Florida. So not to get off track, but like we were growing so much that we started to look for warehouse space in New York. And then it was like, dude, $45, $55 a square foot. Your partners with New York City because of the tax, the state tax. And we're like, you know what? We can't keep writing off and saying we're in the red each year. We know next year we're going to be in the green, right, at the time. So that's when I started to look into Florida, because you're looking over here, man, and I'm in North Florida, Jacksonville area, beautiful area, Ponte Vedra. And you look around over here and you find $8 to $12 a square foot, no state income tax. Like, they don't crack you. My electric bill's $130 in my house right now for running the air conditioner all year round. Where in New York, it would be like $350 for a house half the size. Like, just to give you an instance, like, they're fair over here. In New York, those major cities, bro, they put a gun to you and they just try to take it any which way they can. So what happened was we started to expand out of the basement. We gave the operation up to Midwest, where we ship out of in Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma is right above Texas, for anybody who doesn't know. And the reason we did that was because it's decentralized. So we're supposed to, without any problems with the post office, we're like 1 to 3 days anywhere for the most part. Right. The post office has been having their own issues. But when things were going good and we worked out the kinks with them, once I saw that I could have that operation there, and I didn't have to physically have a location at the moment. The sales reps are on the road. The athletes are all over the States. Everybody I deal with is kind of like how we're talking now. On a Zoom meeting, we get on the Zoom, we get on the phone, we go over everything. And it's like, I don't really have to have a physical base right now, but somewhere down the line, I think it's going to come back around in full circle, right? I think what's going to happen is I will have the warehouse over here and I will have a base with a gym out of it. I like that in-house energy that we had, even though Richie's was really small, and I was fortunate enough to be able to use that because it gave us some cushion while we were growing, but it was a lot of extra moving parts and a lot of extra work coming out of the basement with the products, like a hard turn. We shut down traffic on that block. The neighbors probably called 311 on us. We were getting tickets because they did alternate side on Monday and Tuesday from like 11 to 3 as if nobody works. Something like that. Like, we were getting tickets all the time. Like, it was just like a real hustle and bustle. And sometimes we were filling up these carts that I borrowed one from like a Walgreens, one of these carts. And then we were filling them up and
borrowed.
One day I borrowed one. I was like, yeah.
Borrowed one from Walgreens.
Take it, Rich. You think I should take this? Yeah, take it. It's in the back of the right, so we
them cards.
Yeah, and then I'm walking down to the post office, and then that started to become too big. 50 packages a day, 100 packages a day. Like, doing that every day was, and also I didn't want to be in operations as far as shipping. Right, there's some things I don't want to do And, accounting, I have to do it sometimes now until if I could find like a skilled accountant, it takes a lot of time. The shipping takes up, it takes me out of the main things. And those things in customer service, like I got two amazing women handling my customer service that answer questions better than most of our athletes can about the products. That's how good and skilled and trained they are now. And they're way more patient than I am. So with those three categories being handled and then growing out of the basement, when I came to Florida, I realized now I could grow a little bit more, like not taking on that operation by myself. But that was what actually got us out of there. We grew and we were like, okay, you can't find 5,000 square foot, 7,000, 8,000 square foot that easy in Brooklyn. You find 700 to 1,200 storefronts. And then you find like 15, 20, 300,000 square foot industrial space. So it was like this weird spot. And then we found things that were like $45, $50, like $35, maybe in the hood. I'm like, dude, I got to bring employees here. Like, I'm trying to find a good spot where we could grow. Like, what people can That's what got me down in Florida, because I was like, I thought it would be a little bit easier to operate out of here. It was just becoming too many moving parts over there and too expensive.
Yeah, real quick, is here, let me get you over here. Is this the basement?
Yeah, behind that black wall that we put up to make it a little cooler. Yeah, there's John. That black wall with me on there, all the way to the left of that was just a back room that just kept going. And
that's where you had all the products.
Up to the ceiling, and even behind where John's sitting, behind there, that has products stacked up to the ceiling as well. So, we started to fill that out, and we were rotating it pretty good. And our manufacturer at the time, we told them, we put the orders in and say, hey, listen, we don't have room to store this. So they would hold back stuff for us, and they would replenish us off of that. So they were doing us a favor at the time too, which was pretty cool. But I mean, I wish I had a picture of the other side to show like the staircase coming in and out. If you saw what like a fiasco it was to get in and out of there, and just like the headaches it was to just, when those trucks came in the streets, I'm going to be like 7 to 10 pallets outside, even 3 or 4 of them. It was like, oh my God, bro, all right, I know how this day's going,
Yeah. Here, let me pull this one up. This is what the original Condemned crew here.
Yeah. Those are just guys. It was cool because there was good energy in there. Adrian was on the phone calling. My buddy Joe, all the way far to the left, he was helping Richie with the shipping. Swatek was down there. John would probably be down there some days making calls. So it was like a little boiler room scenario. Like it was like Kaiser in the camera just filming shit. I'll start talking about the products, and then like they start grabbing. Adrian's pounding the phone and calling. Then I would go to the phone every once in a while, show them I could close the deal. It was just good energy, and I miss that in-house energy. Right now, with the COVID and everybody being spaced out, it's not the same, bro. The energy, you need that nucleus rating energy. You know what I'm saying? And you can only do that in an in-house environment, which I do believe we'll get back to. I still might not take the shipping back on though. I can still do that same thing in an office with the green screen and sales reps pounding the phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shipping's tough, man. That's a tough one right there. The shipping, and I don't think people realize like what it takes to run a business and then ship stuff all at once out of the same place. Like
it was cool when we were getting like 5 or 7 orders a day. I remember I swear to God, I tell John, because I'm like a serial killer with dry erase boards. They're everywhere. A dry erase board here, one for here. And I remember when the goal on the website was 3 orders a day, because that was almost 100 orders. And the guy, we got to get 100 orders a month, right? So like 3 orders a day, 3.2 orders a day is like 100 orders a month. And that was the goal. But then all of a sudden we started hitting, when the orders started coming in, and it was, all right, now we're doing like 50 orders a day, now 100 orders a day. That basement was like, oh shit, this is not pretty anymore. Now it's not fun.
So just to contrast and compare, you're doing 3 orders a day, starting off at the basement, or that was your goal.
Yeah.
What does a typical day for Condemned look like now? I
mean, now we have a couple hundred orders a day. Now it's a lot. We're doing thousands of orders a month. So we're doing thousands of orders a month. So it's a completely different dynamic. The pallets that are coming in, pallets are going out. There's a lot of logistics. There's a lot of dealing with different manufacturers. It makes things it keeps things very busy. The day's very busy. Like then it was like a little bit more downtime to like brainstorm. Now it's keeping up with operations and making sure that it's a well-oiled machine. Everybody's communicating properly. I mean, we have 2 customer service representatives working 24 hours, 7 days a week. just keeping up with
Wow.
customer service, because I was opening that email, dude, and I was shrinking as a man. Like, people were just like,
Yeah.
I don't even know, these people just bitching me out, just like, not about customer service issues, more like they wanted their backs rubbed. A lot of the times it was really like, hey, I didn't get my tracking number or something along those lines, or an issue that more along the lines had to do with the postal courier, which, you know, you don't want to tell the customer who's calling you, but just because you answered the phone doesn't mean I'm your punching bag, right?
Right.
It's like, I'm like, hey, dude, like, you gotta call UPS, man. USPS got your package. I don't know. Call your post up. Like, so you have to kind of like, you know, rub their backs a little bit. And, you know, there's a reason why I have 2 customer service representatives. That wasn't my strong point, you know?
Right.
No, it's a lot, because people call, you know how it is now. They're used to Amazon. You know, you get your shit the next day or the day after, but it's not like that with every other brand. We try to emulate and replicate as best we can, but it's hard to do. But all our orders, even now, they go out same day or the next day, you know?
Yeah. So, with that being said, so, you know, now that you got a much larger team around you, you know, a lot more people handling some things for you. So what does a typical day for you look like now? At, you know, running the whole show, like, what does your typical day look like? Like, are you doing a lot, or are you more like hands off, where you're like, this is on autopilot, I like where this is, and you're just enjoying, you know, enjoying the fruits of your labor per se? Or are you still like full in, you know, 24/7, you know, you want more, you're trying to push the brand, or are you just comfortable with where it's at, or, you know, how it's going?
No, we're you know, so I don't think I'll ever be comfortable. I think contentment for me is something I need to work on, but not in this category. We haven't stopped growing. The brand's grown about 300% year over year. So, like, we beat, just to give you guys an idea without throwing numbers out there, in Q2, we beat last year's complete sales. So you know, by June,
Right.
by June we beat all last year. So now this year it's like, all right, we got 6 more months. Let's go. You know, let's drive this ship home. And it's not about getting more sales, because for me, it's about getting in the right doors, right? Like, we've made mistakes in the beginning where we made greedy moves, where we gave things to customers or clients, let's say retail store owners that wanted the brand, to take the brand from another brand. And I saw the way it panned out, and I didn't like it. Because I was that guy behind the supplement store selling products, right? So I'd much rather have Condemned Labz in a brand, with another brand, you know, in a retail, you know, perspective, where they have heart and soul and they really genuinely like the products, because I'll have a longevity play with that brand. You know, we have options here, right? We could kill the cow and eat hamburgers really good, or we could milk it for the next X amount of years, right? So I've made moves like that before. So with the brand, we're constantly pushing the needle. We're constantly going to try to grow, but we want to grow with the right partnerships. I've denied business before, no problem. I have emails all day, people trying to get us in. I got to watch it on Amazon. I got to watch the products on eBay. You know, we have a lot of people, when the brand starts hitting a certain amount of SEO and falls into the right places with the traffic, people reach out. They find your brand now. Oh, wow, this is hot. It's ranking over here. Oh, this is doing really well. Now everybody wants to sell it. So now it's like, hey, who are you? Where are you from? Oh, I have an Amazon. Nah, we're okay. Sorry. You know, not the right fit. So I'd rather have more strategic and selective partnerships. But as far as the day-to-day operations, you know, I'm in it, man. I'm in it. I haven't made it out the hood yet. I'm still going, you know, every day. It's just like, you know, as I give up a responsibility, I usually try to give somebody who's better than me, like the customer service ladies, you know, the customer service representatives per se. They do that job better than me. And that job, when those orders start coming in by the hundreds and then to the thousands, you're just naturally going to get a natural blowback of emails that you have to cater to. So where I was answering all these emails, it was taking me days to catch up. And as I was catching up, they were coming in behind it. Even right now, the social media. I open that direct message. There's a side direct message with the people that you aren't following. Bro, it's hundreds. And I knock them down. By the time I get halfway through, they're coming back in. So what does that tell me? More people are buying the brand. More people are sharing the brand. But, you know, if I gave that job up to somebody, I could step, you know, into it. And I've always, what happens is, as I step out of the positions of doing what I might not necessarily want to do, I'm able to flourish and do what I'm better at. What I really like to do and where I really excel is creative branding. I'm the type of person who come into your business, look at your business, and say, hey, listen, this is what I think you need. This is what you can do different than the competition. This is how you can be a little bit more creative. This is what your market has. This is what you have. Hey, why don't you try bringing something like this to the market? That's where I really excel. And that's something that I step in and out of with the brand because of the day-to-day, the operations, and being consumed with it. A lot of times on the weekend is where I get some of my best ideas and my best thinking, is because I'm not so consumed in the Monday through Friday, you know?
Yeah.
So
have you?
My fault.
Yeah,
Man.
Go
Like,
ahead.
what is it? What would it take? What would it take you and Condemned for you to actually step back and take a lesser role and more just be Michael the owner and not, you know, this hat and this hat and this hat? Like, where does it have to be for you to do that? Or do you never think you're ever going to do that? Like, is that not part of your DNA?
you know what, you know, I look at some of these brands where the owners have passed away. There's been a few brands in the industry, right? And when the owner passed away, the brand still managed to sustain itself, but it's never the same. So as much as I would love to be the heartbeat of Condemned Labz, and I feel like if you cut me open, I bleed Condemned. Like I'm always going to be in it like that. But, you know, I always wanted the brand to be bigger than me. That's why a lot of people, I don't put myself as the owner of the brand. Look at my bio. Everybody owns their company, CEO, president, bang, bang, bang. There's no egos here. My pride's to the door. I know I own it, you know, and at the same time, I don't have to wear that, you know, and it's, for me, it's about the brand sustaining itself. I could step back and take the bird to the window and then let it go and I could see it fly. I did my job, man, you know, and I want that brand to be able to be carried on where it could potentially leave a legacy, you know, so that's where I'm at. I don't know if I'll ever be out of it completely. I mean, it would be nice though to see it moving on its own a little bit, you know, and growing in that aspect where, but I never wanted to grow so big or have the brand so big where, you know, I'm just out of touch with what's going on. I ran into an owner of a company. I got to watch what I say, you know, I ran into an owner of a company at a show and one of his athletes won the entire show. Was waiting. I said, hey, congratulations, bro. I think you guys got the whole show. Big show, you know? And he said, oh, he didn't even fucking know. Like he didn't know. Meanwhile, I was there to watch my athletes compete. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know. And I thought about that when I went back to the hotel and I'm like, man, I never wanted to be so out of touch with it because, you know, my heart's in it. Like, I feel like this is this is my baby, you know? And when I saw that, I said, man, you know, I couldn't judge him. I didn't want to judge him and say, of course I talk shit, you know what I'm saying? Fucking asshole, you don't even know what the fuck this guy's going to win the show. You don't even know who it is. You know, I feel worse than the athlete, you know what I'm saying? But like, at the same time, I'm like, I never wanted to be that guy, man. But then you don't know how, you don't know how it's going to go as things unfold. But I just can't see myself never not being involved. I think I'd be more involved with the front end stuff than the back end stuff. Like I would love to turn around and jump on this podcast with you guys once a month and do something business oriented because you guys all have your own business oriented. Everything from, you know, setting up a corporation. Why should I do an LLC? Why should I do an S corp?
Right.
Hey, what about taxes? Hey, make sure you have a good lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of bumps and bruises I've learned through the journey that I could think I really could actually save somebody. You know, maybe some heartache. At the same time, I'm still going through it. So as much as the brand might look like it's a success on the outside or it's in the right direction, it's still very much a work in progress. You know, we're not there yet. You know, we're not there. We got a lot of bumps.
So,
you know,
have you noticed that like as the brand is growing, now this might sound kind of weird coming off, but as the brand grows, do you find yourself watching your back and looking over your shoulder a lot more than you were when, you know, Condemned was still just, you know, something small on an idea per se?
Yeah, you know, there's a great quote from the guy. It's a great book if anybody wants to read about the journey. Like it's called Shoe Dog. The owner of Nike, Phil Knight.
Yeah.
And like if you read this book, I couldn't put it down. It's a 400-page book. Once the book starts to go over like 300 pages, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to read this thing. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't put this book down, but he says, because of all the trials and tribulations and problems Nike has, he says, the bigger you get, the bigger the target on your back. And, you know, I felt that a couple of times, you know, I'm still feeling that. I got, you know, we got battles going on, you know. Somebody sent me a YouTube the other day, a guy bashing Arson, #1 seller. I'm watching the video and I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like there's an army of like little haters. So they're going to come with the territory, but, you know, they haven't climbed up the hill. You know, they don't know what it's like to be in your shoes. And, you know, they're spectators. They're people most of the time that aren't going to be successful because they're so worried about judging other people, what they're going to do, that they never take that time to look in the mirror and reflect on themselves. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, you know, myself, Isaac, when people ask me about a product sometimes, I knew more about products when I was in the supplement store because I was selling them.
Yeah.
I don't look at what anybody else is doing. You know, when I don't look to see what they're doing. I don't even know what their ingredient panels are. So, like, for anybody to say, God forbid anybody ever says we copied, and, you know, we've had our stuff copied. I've had the bottles copied to the T, to the point where we had to be in vacation. Like
I remember that, actually. Yeah, I remember that.
They took things that we had custom made for the label, on the label, and we're selling it to our accounts. So, I mean, you know, just we're not that brand. But as you grow, you do see it a little bit more. I'm not watching my back per se. I mean, you know, I let people know too. You know, you see where the products and the names come from, man. Like, just take a Just think about what you do before you do it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we like to be, we want to say we're mature. We want to say we're growing as business owners, but we're still men, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You know, I wanted to ask you this because I don't think people realize when they join these, you know, the supplement companies, they don't, I never realized how Condemned was so like, took care of their ambassadors and their athletes. You know, like what made you want to be that way, where you actually gave attention to even the smallest person at the very beginning who just started to your main athletes? You gave them almost all the same attention. Like, there's not a lot of brands that do that on a regular basis. I mean, I don't know hardly any except for Condemned. And I don't think people realize, like, you know, how much that means to some of these, you know, ambassadors, even myself, Marcel. You know, that's really cool. And I like, what made you want to like put focus on that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think I did.
You kind of understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Well, knowing that I was an athlete, you know, and I was sponsored by Muscle Tech, and I was sponsored by, you know, Shred's Bodybuilding. I was the first bodybuilding athlete to represent the brand because I was came in shredded. And, you know, I know what I got versus what I was giving at the time, right? And it was an off balance. And I'm always a giver. I don't want to take, but, you know, now we're starting to learn. Maybe we were giving away the kitchen sink a little bit too much in the beginning and being too nice. But at the end of the day, like, I want to take care of the athletes as much as I can. But what I'm seeing now is, like, you know, when guys like you come on board, you know, Marcelo, you guys stepped up tremendously, you know, and like, you start to have these high caliber athletes and you look and like, I'm not talking about our athletes now, but my athletes I've had in the past. And I've had Olympian athletes signed to the brand with multiple brands, you know, and I've seen what they do and what they're capable of. It really comes down to effort and energy. Like, dude, you don't have to tag me in every picture. Dude, I look at things, I see it. I get punched in the face with some of your guys' stuff. Even you guys taking on the podcast right now and doing this. It's something I wanted to do. I'm busy. And I'm not going to say I'm too busy, but like, you know, to stop and set it up like you guys doing it, like grabbing the bull by the horns and taking the initiative, you know, that's something that's, you know, gets my attention. So it's like, I want to give back to those that are giving, you know, and I will take the guy, you know, who works harder and shows up every day over the superstar with the big Instagram following. 9 times out of 10, I'll take that guy. It's not me, man. You know,
and
yeah,
you know, here's since we are touching on that, you know, here's the thing. There's so many of the ambassadors that are coming into the program that reach out to myself or reach out to Isaac, or, you know, I'm sure you've gotten the same thing, Isaac, and they're asking like, hey, what did you do to move up the ladder here? Like, what did you do? You know, what were you doing? And I, so many times I get like stumped by that question because I don't know if there's a right answer to it other than, hey, just do what you're supposed to do. You know, if you come on to a brand as an ambassador, first of all, you need to believe in the brand. Don't join a brand just because they want you to come on as ambassador, because guess what? You know, I'm sure everybody knows this by now, but anybody can be an ambassador anywhere. That's just the bottom line. Mm-hmm. You work out or you wash cars or whatever you want to do, you know, you reach out to the company saying, I want to be an ambassador, give me a discount code. They'll most likely give it to you. So with that moving forward, though, you have to believe in the brand. You have to really believe in the brand. And once you believe in the brand, I feel like things get easier. Like, if you believe in it, it's so easy for me to talk about this brand. It's so easy for me to support this brand. It's so easy for me to push it onto my, you know, my customers or my clients because it works and I believe in it. And what I'm seeing a lot these days is people just want to have a tag in their Instagram bio. Like, that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a tag in your Instagram bio, guess what? You're not going to move up in this game. You're not going to move up in this business because, like Michael said, what he looks for is work ethic. And what he looks for is somebody that actually cares for the brand and will represent the brand in a certain way, which doesn't necessarily always mean sales. Because I know when I came onto the brand, like, my sales were shit. Like, but what I try to do is I try to make sure that if my sales suck, all the other boxes are ticked off. You know, I'm promoting the brand in the best way that I can. I'm representing the brand. I'm wearing the clothing. I'm believing in it. And we don't see a lot of that anymore. We really don't. You know, I feel like everybody's just correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but you're getting so many people who are like, give me this, this, and that because I'm this, instead of, hey man, what can I do to move up in this brand? What are you looking for? You know?
Yeah. It's disappointing for me to see what I see out here a lot of the time. Because nobody handed me anything to get anywhere I was, and even my family and like how I was grown and raised, and the word entitlement, I don't want to, jumps out to me so much. When the people come on the brand, like, it's not hard to get somebody's attention. You don't have to get their attention by tagging them or asking for something. Like I'm very in tune with the brand. I follow everything in a circle. I get to it and I see it, especially like when Isaac came on. I'm like, hey, what's this guy? Who's this guy? Of course, when I look at the sales too, right? When I look at the sales and I match it up to the post and I go back and follow the Instagram and I'm like, oh, wow, look what this guy's doing. He's posting nonstop. His page is like he's a Condemned Labz athlete, right? So if I were to go to his page, posting, engaging with the audience, not thinking they're better than anybody, not over branding. We don't need all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, buy this shit, buy it now. I think the first step in that process is one step back. It's like putting out a good product, right? So, when you have a good product, it's a little bit easier to sell. And if you're going to represent something, you should probably make a purchase on the website, check out the product, go into a supplement store, experience the product. You don't want to get behind something you don't like because you instantly lose credibility. And these brands pop up and they fold like cheap suits. They pop up all the time. We see something hot, they got a pre-workout, a fat burner. Where are they 6 months? Where are they from a year? I heard it from all my manufacturers. You know how many guys come on board and come and give us a purchase order one time and we never see them again? It's the truth. It's a really competitive space. Yeah. I didn't realize how competitive it was until I got into it. And, that was the challenge for me, right? All right, that's the hurdle. Let me go. Like, I want to see what I could do here. Especially when I think I could do things better. I really do believe it. And I have the credentials to do it from, competing and all this other stuff. So some of these athletes, they come on board and they're like, oh, it's just free product. A free product. I pay for that fucking motherfucker. Like every once in a while, I'm like, I have a free product, bro. My manufacturer's invoices and check out my Amex credit card bill right now. Yeah, it's not really free. So it's important for me too. Like, I find myself naturally gravitating towards athletes that passive aggressively post and get my attention through their work ethic. Like, hey, listen, it's great. I see everybody posting and doing stuff. But like, when I see somebody posting and then I see the sales report and I go through it, I go through it from the top to the bottom and I check out who's performing and who's not. And I'm like, man, I look at the people and to be honest with you, if I put these guys in a lineup on social media and I was like, hey, to a random person, who do you think's doing the best here based on following and look? It's usually not the superstars, man. It's usually not the superstars. It's the guys that are passionate about the brand. Same thing with the retail stores, what I said before, right? I'd rather go with the guys that really want to sell my product because they experienced them and they tried them. Not the guy up the block that wants to fuck the little guy and just carry it and hoard it and then not get behind it. Just to like bang his chest and say, hey, I got it. He doesn't. I don't do that no more. And I find that I see that game from a mile away. So same thing with the athletes, man. I'd like to see the guys come on board. I like the hungry guys that come on board. I want the brand to be hardcore. You don't have to be polished. You don't have to have a 12-pack. You don't have to have 126,000 followers. You come on board and you work hard. And it's funny because, people always like, I know companies are really big on getting sales and sales help, right? Because if you're in a contract where you're an athlete and you're competing and show fees are involved, there has to be some sort of exchange rate. There has to be a give and take for business, right? Unless there's a tremendous amount of brand awareness or something, you're just so big. I don't think anybody in this industry, there is people, but I don't think there's anybody really, crazy out there that's like A-list celebrity like Kardashian or this, that, where they make a post and they're like, your website's selling out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there is. I haven't experienced that yet. I mean, if you come on board and you talk about a product and you relay it to your audience and you're passionate about the product and you're posting about it, I mean, I think naturally people will get interested and I think sales follow. It might not happen overnight. Marcel, it didn't happen overnight for you. But look at you now.
No, it's been 3 years,
a steady stream of, sales coming in and flowing consistently, and you guys work your way up the ranks. Isaac, you came out the gate a little bit more aggressively, and that's why you got my attention right away. And then the first thing I do is tell Yari, who's our athlete advisor, first thing I do is like, Yari, just don't pay for products no more. Don't make them buy in our products. So the idea is to not get these people in an ambassador program to say, yeah, I got 5,000 ambassadors. Look at me. Yeah, but 30 or 50 of them are really working, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not a numbers game for me in that aspect. I'd rather have 10 lions than 100 sheep, right?
Right.
So that's what
you want the quality over the quantity.
So
for sure.
But if anybody comes on board and they're like looking to see like when they could just get this or how many posts they have to make, dude, that's the wrong idea. Just come on board. If you like the product, just do the damn thing. Show me that you're capable. I notice it. I always compensate and try to take care of it any way I can. And, everything else, follows after that. I think a lot of people just come on board and they get mad right away. I don't even post them to the social media right away. If you look on other people's pages, these other brands aren't posting ambassadors. They're not posting these other people. How could you say you're sponsored by a company or you represent a company? If you give them an A+ post with a great caption, a great product shot, and you had a 4K camera, and it's in this resolution, how could the company look at that and say, hey, I'm going to share this on my page? I get better looks from posting the ambassadors and customers that buy the product and stores, because more people follow the page thinking that they're going to get posted, as opposed to company X that's, a premium brand that's too good to post their customers, their clients, their ambassadors, and only post their superstar athletes. So that's not us, man. I think people notice that, and that's why they gravitate towards the brand a little bit more. We're looking for more of a camaraderie in the community amongst ourselves, and we're looking to still cater to a hardcore crowd, which I think a lot of people are steering away from now. I think they're like, I don't know, like I always looked at us as like almost like a mix of like 5% with a little bit of a grunginess, but with that animal community where people just want to buy into the brand. And I wanted to build upon that. If I had to take two brands and merge them together, I would say something along the lines. And of course, I'm going to say I have better products, right? I have to. But,
right.
But that's really what we're trying to do here. And it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of people just come on board, and if they don't see that they're getting what they want right away, or if it's not this, they're not willing to put in the work. And guess what, dude? Those people are the first ones. That book, another great quote. The coward never starts, and the weak get eaten along the way. And it's true, bro. The coward never starts, and the weak get eaten along the way. And then the guys that really put the work in and put the thing in. Look where you guys seen yourselves. Like, how much have you grown with the brand in periods of time? Yeah. There's nothing like, if you guys ask me something, I'm like, yeah, good. If I can afford it, or if it sounds reasonable, well, hey, I'm all in. What do you guys need from me?
Right. So Isaac, you just came on board, I don't know, not too long. It's been what, a year? Something like that. Anyway.
January, beginning of the year. Yep.
January. Okay. So let's take Isaac for an example, right? Cause I mean, his move up the ladder was a lot faster than mine. What do you think made you climb up that ladder that fast? Because let's face it, we've had people come on the brand, leave the brand, they're coming and going, people appear and disappear. But what do you think, what did you do, to make yourself climb up that ladder?
I mean, I had the benefit of using the products before I joined Condemned, seeing Mike, Lacombe and Yari and even yourself, like knowing all you guys, I've always tried the products. I always had arson mixed in there. Even when I was with other supplement companies, I would still use arson because it fucking worked, So it was really easy for me to sell the brand and just promote it because I believed in the product. I knew the product worked. I've used it, and I didn't have a big following at all, but I just put in the effort. Like you guys say, it's all about effort, and I was religious with it. Like for me, it was always cool being a part of something. And once I got put on, with Condemned, and everybody welcomed me with open arms. It was like, all right, time to work. Like I know this product works. I see that they take care of their people, so I'm going to give them 100% as well. It's been like that ever since. I just nonstop and keep doing it. And just quality. Just about putting out quality posts and making quality content. I think that's very underrated. People don't realize how far that goes. It could be something small, but as long as it has some quality and there's some value to it, like that helps a lot.
I think
that's cool because we've seen you climb up so very quickly. So that was cool. That was definitely cool to see.
Let me jump in there real quick, two more stuff, because there's some things that stand out to me about Isaac too. And maybe I know you've been on for a while, but Isaac's been on for a shorter period of time. So some things that jumped out to me right away was one, there was some sales coming and there was some traction, right, which was cool. And maybe his introduction to come to the team was a little bit more welcome because you guys knew him, right? You guys warm welcomed him, and he had something to model from some of the good, guys on the team. But the thing was too, you were getting sales, you were buying your products initially, right? So I knew you weren't scared to invest in yourself. And then you liked the product so much that you promoted the brand. This is not a gimmicky segment here where we're like, oh yeah, the products are so great. Like, no, this is what really happened. He was buying the products, he was promoting the products, and then, getting us into a supplement store. I don't think some of the athletes realize how much value that brings. Like, if you're the foot in the door, Then you're going out there and doing demos for free. I didn't even know, I didn't even know about it. I was like, yeah, Isaac did a demo out there. So then you're going out there and you're doing demos, and the store that you got the products into is doing well, which is directly related to your influence, which brings value to the brand. And like when I start to see things like that and it all starts to fall apart, one, it makes it a lot harder for the other athletes, right? Because I'm looking at them now like, yo, what are you guys doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's good. Everybody's
Absolutely.
and like I like that silent competition where everybody's trying to outdo each other and beat each other. And like I said, it's not like we're selling like junk product here and we're trying to rob people. We know we got something good. We just want to get it in more people's hands, and the brand will take its own shape. But there was like a handful of things that you were doing very fast, and that's why I was like, I remember saying to Yari and having the conversation. I'm like, yeah, just get them more. When I see somebody doing good and they're doing well, how can I arm them with more ammunition? Well, let me start. Let me give them full boat free product. Let me give them more free. Give them whatever he asked for. Okay, let's get him in some clothing. You know what I'm saying? Now I look again. Like I go once you got me on the hook like that, I'm looking again. Now let's see what he does. And you know how many people turn around once they think the cheese is in the corner over there? They stop running the race. They do it all the time. And you see right away, people are like, oh, they come on board initially and they give it everything, and then all of a sudden they slow down and they get comfortable. And then that's where they start to shoot themselves in the foot. And then, but like, with the right person, you give them some more product, you give them some more things to on them, and you kind of see where they go with it. And then when they take it to the next level, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like you're playing football in the tryouts and they're hitting you with all the pads. Eventually you get hit with that last pad, bro, and you're running to the end zone. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. Yeah. You guys got through that hazing period per se. And a lot of people, they can't, they're not doing that. These people don't want to work. They don't want to get involved. They want to say they get involved. And it's a constant struggle on social media.
Now, let's ruffle some feathers here. Do you think that a lot of the times what the problem is with like some of the athletes that come on, right? Athletes, I'm not talking ambassadors, and because obviously if you're an ambassador, you got to perform to move up the ladder.
Yeah.
But with athletes that you bring on the team and all of a sudden they're not performing or they're not doing what they were supposed to, do you think it has to do with that they didn't have to climb that ladder? They didn't have to earn product. They didn't have to earn a salary. They didn't have to, earn, their commission. It was just kind of like, here's everything. And they're like, well, fuck, I got everything. What do I have to work for then? You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you think that that's a big issue of like why sometimes like you see people come and go and it's like, well, they didn't do much. They didn't do anything. What happened there?
Yeah, I think it's a huge issue, and I'm not speaking for anybody on the team currently, but there's been people that have been on the team that, that have, gotten on a little easier than they should have. And initially, right, like you're trying to build a brand image and a brand identity.
Yeah.
Right? And you want people to identify with that brand. Like when you go to the store and you buy this brand, it's kind of because you like this thing. So we're trying to show them this thing that they would want to be a part of and attract. But, unfortunately, I've attracted, I wanted to attract the meathead crowd, and the meathead crowd wants to pick things up and put it down. And then that's where the dollar stops. And that's been a huge issue because they come on board as entitlement. And at the beginning, it was worse because I brought on friends. that were like big, because who I was in the space when I was competing and doing my thing. And they were the first ones to fuck me. Like, I'm not kidding. Yeah. I couldn't even believe it. And it was one after another. And I said, maybe I'm being too nice. And, I think they're not as hungry, or they think they got it. And the word entitlement's been floating around. And some of the guys have big names and might have been around the industry for a while. And that, doesn't give them the right to not come on work. Sometimes it's very conflicting when I look at the sales reports at the end of the month, because if you are promoting, if you are creating brand awareness, if you're wearing the clothes, if you're talking about the brand, if you're going to the gym every day and your 24-hour storyboard in your post is you going to the gym every day, Condemned should be in there somewhere if you're a sponsored athlete, if you're on a salary. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't go unsaid. We shouldn't have to look at a contract. There shouldn't be numbers written on there. Oh, just do your job. Right. Your job is my job.
That's the easy part.
Yeah. So and then all of a sudden it's like, if you're doing that, I know sales will follow. And if you have a bigger following, it's going to be that much easier to pull a lot of those guys in that funnel because they're going to be interested. Hey, this person's really likes these. And I don't want anybody on the team that doesn't like the products. If you don't like the product, you don't have to like them all. Everybody's body's different. But I don't want anybody on the team that's like, I don't really mess with it. I don't want anybody holding the product up, say they take it if they don't take it. Don't do me any favors. I don't need it. And then you get people on other brands that I know do that. I speak to professional athletes at the highest level looking to come on board. I have seen what they've said about the brands that they're with, and I'm like, oh, man, I hope nobody says that about my brand. That's not. I'm about the products first and foremost. Then everything comes down from that, you know. So
Right.
yeah. With that being said, man, some of the people, you know, if you hand it out too easy, you know, they'll take it for granted. You know, they'll take advantage, and then you know, when do they try to amend the situation? You know, a couple of months before the contract.
End of your contract.
Yeah, contract. It happens every time. Contract's ending. They start posting a little bit more. I'm like, yeah, you know, you would have did that like 6 months ago. If people come on board the day they put the, you know, the pen to the paper, and they have the same mindset as they did then, as they do to the end when they're out the door, because nothing's worse than with your company for 12 months, and it's a good brand and you like the products, and then you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You know, a lot of times what do? They'll go back out there and they'll bash the brand. They'll say, hey, I don't believe in the product. Hey, the owner's a dick. You know, I've had it happen all. You know, like, well, some of them will just, you know that, hey, listen, I got to go find a new home. And, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think that's a good look either as an athlete. You know, you don't want to be bouncing around home to home. And especially when there's an opportunity right now where I don't think Condemned Labz has a face. And I've talked to a couple of athletes before, and I'm like, I didn't want to step in to be the face of the brand ever. Because one, it put a lot of pressure on me to work out and stay in shape. And two, I really do from an owner perspective when the time was right. But I mean, you know, it's just, you know, it's a lot. If they had that mentality across the board for the 12 months, now you come back to the table happy, right? Hey, boss, let's sit down and talk for a minute, man. Look at my performance. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's, let's say, it doesn't have to be the biggest contract, but like, you know, bodybuilding back in the day, handing out $5,000 to $10,000 a month contracts, it's dead, bro. It's not happening like that anymore.
It's not. It doesn't happen.
Classic physique popped up. Classic physique popped up, and they just keep undercutting bodybuilding and diluting it a little bit, and they're taking the money away. And these kids are social media savvy. They know how to make money from their platforms and monetize them.
Now, with that being said, you know, they're taking away the 5 to 10 grand contracts, but I feel like that's still a very easy possibility of making that. You know, you just have to perform, right? Yeah. Like, it's people, because you hear a lot of people talk about actually that what you said is like, well, the age of supporting yourself from bodybuilding, you know, is over. Well, yes and no. There's just other ways to do it now. Like there's you know, different avenues you have to go through, and now you just kind of actually have to work for it, and it's just more trackable. Because I feel like back in the day, right, like if you're a supplement company, you're pretty much looking at how well this athlete is performing on stage, right? He's performing well on stage. Well, he's probably going to sell the product because there's no social media. There was no codes. There was no website codes, right? People were going to supplement stores and buying stuff. Yeah. So, like, there wasn't a way to track of who's actually bringing you in the money, right? It was just, wasn't it kind of just like a guess at that point? Like, I'm guessing that this guy, since he's popular, he's going to bring in the money. Where now everything is trackable. It's very easy. It's black and white. Like this guy's performing, this guy's not. There's codes that track everything. You know, there's ways to track athlete sales. And there's ways to track athlete performance. So I feel like the playing field kind of leveled out, because now even if just because you're, you know, a good athlete and you're doing well at shows, that doesn't mean that you're gonna, you know, do well promoting the business.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily equate the value, right, to the company. So I think back the day it was like, hey, I'm paying for a billboard, right? Like, we don't know how many cars might have drove past this month or this week, or we don't know who saw it, who's going to call up the law firm, yada, yada. But, you know, for instance, now, I mean, it is very trackable. And it kind of, you know, flips the cards over on the table and you can kind of see what's what, which is good and bad. But, I mean, you know, if some of these athletes have such big followings and they're in such great shape, it should be very easy for them to do, you know. It should be very easy for them to do. And if you're getting a kickback on a commission code that's, you know, halfway decent, and you could move some product, it could be, you know, it could add, you know, a lot to the, you know, that end number at the end of the month. But you just have to, like I said, it all comes down to that energy in the beginning and how to do it. And I think back in the day, it was more of a cloud thing, like, hey, they're with me. Like, you know, when Michael Jordan was signed to Nike, nobody could sit there with a clicker and say, hey, Jordan brought in this many people. But he was the top of the top. So, you know, him wearing those shoes was bringing that attention no matter what. They had the best guys. But these are companies that have, you know, a lot more cash flow and stuff like that. So, I mean, you would hope that would happen here. But, I mean, like with the trackability with social media, I see on the other side, too, where like, hey, listen, if you're driven by numbers and you're competitive, you know, same way you count 45-pound plates in the gym in 25 and you're trying to beat your last PR, how about like, hey, last month I did X. I got this many sales this month. Let me see if I could do this and maybe hit that. You know what I'm saying? Same way.
Yep.
It really all comes down to the person. I really believe some people are born and programmed and hardwired a little bit differently than others. And I see it like in front of my face on a daily basis, you know? I find myself gravitating to the people that are more programmed like me, you know?
Yeah. So to put a bow on this topic before we move on. So, you know, if you are looking to get, you know, onto Condemned or any other brand, like let's each one of us just let's throw out a thing that will help you, because that's a lot of questions that we get is how to, you know, move up in the ladder in the game here. So I'll start off by saying my number one tip is, well, you know, don't ask for stuff. Make sure you earn it. So once you earn it, it'll come to you. So that's like my tip. Don't go around asking for, you know, everything. Don't go around asking for, you know, free products, free apparel, free this, free that. Make sure you earn it. Make sure you're, you know, you got to remember it's a business, so you got to bring in more than what they're giving you. That's just, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. How about you, Isaac?
My tip would just be, you know, constant effort. You know, that's the biggest thing for me is just keep putting in the effort and, you know, making sure there's some quality to it, and eventually good things will happen, you know? Just keep pushing that envelope. Just keep pushing. That's basically my tip.
Yeah, so, you know, Marcel, you got action, you know, actions over words, right? To go back to what you said. That was one of the things I jotted down real quick. Right up my head, I'm like, don't talk about it, be about it, right? And then the next thing I wrote was consistency, which constant effort would be, you know, as consistency. But there's a third one too, though, that off my head that I could write right away. Consistency is the most important thing to me because, like I said before, a guy who shows up every day, he doesn't have to have the best set of hands, but he's there every day and he's consistent is of more value to me than the guy that comes in and just pops up and every once in a while, right? But creativity, it doesn't have to be from one angle. Everybody thinks they have to come on and do this. I've had guys come on before, start setting up demos and doing this stuff in stores or getting store leads or just, you know, do things so unorthodox and grab attention, you know, because I knew they had a little following. They were never going to be the sales horse, but they've stayed consistent and they got creative with the brand. And then you can't help but to notice that effort and that energy. And like, you can't scold somebody for that or put them down for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll always stick around. But then if you can get creative, eventually you don't give up and you don't get discouraged and you find your niche of where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? There's opportunity everywhere. It's really all in your mindset and how you go about it. And like I said, some people, I'm a big believer, you know, in playing people to their strengths. Like, I don't want to have, and Clive tells me when he's filming the athletes, hey, so-and-so is not really great at talking around. I said, don't waste your time, because then you're going to have to film. If they can't talk about the products, you're going to go back and film them and edit for hours. You're going to be miserable twice. Once you had to film them and now you've got to edit them, and then you're chopping stuff up to make, if they're great at doing this and they could give you a great leg day and some tips, film that, bro. Don't make them become scientists about the supplements. Sometimes I get tied up on them and I formulated them, you know? So, you know, play people to their strengths, be creative. Don't be two-dimensional, be three-dimensional. There's a million ways where you could bring value somewhere and make somebody know your worth without screaming, look at me, give me this, you know?
Right. Excellent.
Perfect. All right. So
I got a little fun segment that I wanted to do here real quick, and a little rapid fire, and just give me. I'm going to give you some names.
You're a sneak attack right now. I should pull my gun out.
I'm going to give you some names, and then you just give me like a couple words that come to your head when I give you these names. Okay.
Before I speak, I have to. Lawyer advised me, bro.
Don't worry, we can always edit anything.
It's the blackmail that comes behind it when you guys want to leave the brand. Fuck this guy, I got him. When you said that, I can't believe you said that.
All right. Here we go real quick. All right, so first name, Yari.
Oh, my God. Yari, love Yari. Hard worker, doesn't stop. He's the ideal candidate that we were just explaining. Hard work, consistency, not the most polished, rough around the edges, but gets the job done and doesn't have a big following. And he's able to sell and get the brand out there in a positive manner.
Awesome. All right. Mike Lacombe.
Great shape, great bodybuilder, huge potential, super loyal, been a part of the brand for a long time now. Don't see him going anywhere else. Would like to see more social media posting showing who Mike Lacombe is a little bit more. I want to know more. He's got the look to attract you and lure you in, but he needs, I think, a little bit more substance behind his post and open the door and let people in, because I think they'll be attracted to him even more.
Right. Dusty Hanshaw.
Dusty's a beast, man. Dusty's a legend. He's just a good dude, hard worker, consistent, knows the game from the inside and the out, knows the business aspect of things. I don't have to tell Dusty what I'm paying for and what I'm laying out as far as Condemned goes. He already knows that. We're on the same wavelength. And then to see what he's overcame, recently with being sick and in a coma for once, very inspirational, very motivating. He's almost back to where he started before, where, when you're getting those phone calls, man, little scary situation that he was in. We didn't know what was going to be on the other end. Just highly motivating. Another one too, though, I'd like to know. I mean, Dusty lets you in certain ways, but I would like to see more.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Clive's
my man. Clive's good. Clive's my brother from another. We just, like this love-hate relationship. Very creative, brings the brand to life. He's another one that I've established a relationship with over the last couple of years, where he's kind of in tune with the brand. With me, where we don't have to talk about the specs. Hey, Clive, I need you to do me a favor. You're going out to Arizona. You're going to film Marcel, Isaac, Courtney. If you can catch Dusty, if he's up for it, go catch him. Came back, and the content was condemned. You know what I'm saying? Where when you start that relationship with somebody, you got to coach and teach them what it is, how to do it, and then it has to be up to par. He's already kind of dialed that in to the point now where I have him micromanaging new prospects who are filming in other states. Another person who's moved up in the Condemned Labz ladder.
Dave, Mr. Center Stage.
Dave, I really would like you guys to consider having Dave as a third party on the show. I think he would be the utmost benefit, even maybe more so for me. You guys are on the same level as from a coaching, supplement, nutrition, diet perspective. Good-looking kid, well-spoken, has his shit together. He's a little bit older. He's not a child, so he's not making stupid mistakes. He's very mature. Like I said, he's very intelligent. From business, from everything from business and bodybuilding. See, I like the guys that could chameleon in the business and bodybuilding world as well, because at the end of the day, we know there's more to life than just bodybuilding. So it's the guys that have a little bit more versatility that I get attracted to and that have that hustle. And Dave has that. I think he'd be a great addition to your show.
Definitely. Alberto,
hardworking, doesn't get enough love and attention. We got a camera guy out in Chicago area that's going to be filming and working over there. I want to get some more content with him. Doesn't say nothing, quiet dude, but you know what? He's always posting the brand, representing the positive light. Would like to do a little bit more for him, so that's why I do have that lined up. It's already in the works now.
Awesome. Marcel Zabork.
Marcel, man. Marcel, you Marcel. Let's go with Marcel. Marcel, just hard work ethic, very smart. Very rarely, I'll be honest with you, Marcel, I don't have many people who have reached out to me on a Monday afternoon or the first of the month. I was like, hey, boss, what can I do for you? It's usually the other way around. I mean that. I'm not good at taking things from people. I don't even like to ask people to do things. I kind of have, if that's your job, that's your job. But the guys that go above and beyond, as long as I have food on the table, they have food on the table. There'll always be a spot for them with me. And, you guys are one of those guys. I really like the way you're carrying yourselves with the interview. You've showed your versatility. I watch you guys both grow businesses, talk to you guys on the side. I know you understand marketing, comprehension of why people do certain things, psychology, the clients. And I know you guys both love the bodybuilding space. So it's just a win. And I really appreciate the way you guys represent the brand. I really have nothing but good things to say.
That's awesome. Well, I'll leave it at that. That was a good
Isaac, same thing.
Right?
Oh, fuck it. What about Isaac? What the hell? You can't leave yourself out of this bullshit.
Same thing, Isaac. I thought you were going to come on board. I really had the relationship established with you fully. I didn't know what you were going to do, but right away out the gate, I saw hard worker, right? Hard worker, didn't ask nothing. I'm like, doesn't complain, and then I see going above and beyond, that attitude and that mentality, and, I'm naturally attracted to that, and you guys pairing up together, really great for the brand. Like seeing what you did, even your work ethic from competing this year, the both of you guys, it's not easy to run a business and compete. I know. That's probably why I stopped competing. Once I had my foot in the door in business and then my own money was on the line, I was like, oh, fuck, I can't do this. And I still love bodybuilding. I still love it. Still love going to the gym. I always make my way back. I just started going back after the whole COVID thing, and I'm just starting to feel okay and normal. But seeing you guys do that all year round, kids, taking care of your business and doing that stuff, man, like I said, you guys always have a spot on the team for me. And I still think there's a lot of potential for this brand to grow. We haven't hit the tip of the iceberg. We're going to laugh. We'll look back at a couple of years of this podcast and be like, remember when that was like a big deal when things were going really good? Look at it now. That's want that oh shit moment. You know what I'm saying? And I would like you guys to be there with me.
Yeah.
Well, give me somebody else you got in there. There's got to be somebody I could bash a little bit. Clive, I should have bashed a little bit, but I was being nice.
Bash? Oh, I don't think we want to go there.
Two other guys on the team that are really. There's a handful of people on the team, but two guys that stand out that aren't on the bodybuilding side, more or less. John and Mike K, two sales reps.
Yeah.
They have grown this brand in the last year and a half tremendously. I mean, they're landing international. They linked up with a distribution company in South Florida that's just accelerating with the brand, and they're responsible for a lot of that growth. So, if it wasn't for them, a lot of these things would have been made happen from the beginning, because it wasn't until COVID where the script started to flip the other way, with the website really growing. People weren't able to go in stores and buy anymore. So, but before that, all that time leading up to then, we were really, really, really wholesale dominant.
Yeah.
So they were carrying the brand, man. So they were paying for the athletes. They were paying for me to be able to give products away. They were earning that money, so I was able to do it. So I don't want that to go unnoticed or unacknowledged. Those guys, John just literally got home today. Bro, the dude jumped on a road trip. He went, I don't even know where he was. He was in Tennessee. He was in Ohio. He was in Chicago. Then he ended up I don't think he went to Nebraska. I think he ended up in Oklahoma. He ended up in Kansas, Arkansas, and then started making his way back. You know what I mean? I'm on the phone and the guy's clocking 7,000 to 10,000 miles on a road trip,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's a beast, bro. I've been on the road with him for days, and, that legwork we put in and, gave that time and that attention to the brand. I don't think if we did that in the beginning, I don't know if the foundation would have been set as far to go as it did with the trials and tribulations and the bumps and bruises from the learning curves that we took. There's been a couple of things in this brand, and we'll talk about it on a separate podcast. Behind the scenes, I'll give you guys the thing, but there's been some blows that are like, dude, all right, my back's on the ropes right now. Then I hit the canvas, and then the count was like somewhere on like 7 or 8. And I'm like, shit, I could stay down right here. And I'm going to get the fuck back. You know what I'm saying? There's been some moments like that where it's like, oh shit, right from the very beginning with the first manufacturer we had, which I have no problem talking shit about. So we'll save that for another podcast, though.
Okay, so
that should have put us out of business.
Yeah, right. All right, we're coming up on about an hour and a half, and I know me and Marcel, are pretty excited with what you said, like future plans. But what are future plans and like future products? People that you want to tell people about a little bit, or you care to dig into that a little quick?
You might start losing some people after an hour naturally, right? Unless you're doing some sort of cardio for a show. But some future plans we have right now. The reason why we were supposed to drop a wellness line before COVID. As it started to get closer to COVID, and that started to happen, and it was taking a little bit longer than I wanted it because there was already issues arising, I just felt very gimmicky. I didn't want to drop vitamin C, immune support, a multivitamin, and this while the world was doing that. I felt like, wow, this looks like a sleazy person.
Like a marketing plot. Yeah.
I had manufacturer reach out to me, Mike, we can label you some vitamin C real quick. We got this in stock. We have that. I said, you know what? It looks bad. And I didn't want people to say that. And at the same time, it just set things. I said, let's worry about the main products now, because there were setbacks from raw materials, plastics and bottles, flavor houses are backed up. So all of a sudden, like our lead times were like 8 to 12 weeks. Now they're like 12 to 16 weeks, which isn't a lot. It's a lot of time when you're laying out 50% of that money up front. And then, you're already supposed to wait in order while the products are not even in your hand yet, because we're selling through them so quick. So, I mean, we have a lot of things in the works. We've been working on a wellness line. We have like 5 formulas, probably out of 15 that I signed off on. We've been working on some new flavors. I actually have them. Can I get up for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me show you.
Oh, we're getting a sneak peek here.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We're getting the good stuff.
Got some samples, and even these things got lost in the mail. But we're working on like so we had some Halloween stuff that we were going to try to push out, which was a goblin rainbow lime sherbet. There was a watermelon flavor here as well for Convict. And it's not to do flavors because we're trying to. I have a bunch of new products that we're gonna.
Yeah.
We're gonna want to do a Convict Halloween brain hemorrhage strawberry lime sherbet. So we were working on these things. So as far as new flavors, here's a strawberry pineapple trick or treat. So, and I got some other flavors there too as well for exclusives and things of that nature. But, you know, we want to bring new products to the table. So for things that I really like right now is we have a cognitive product, the nootropic. We're using the ingredients still, and I've been using this. I've been messing with this thing for like 4 or 5 months. It doesn't hit like a punch in the face, but it's very sustained, and it's not like an alpha GPC and a choline where you take it and you have to like look for these cognitive benefits. It's got enough in there to give it an oomph, but it's clean, and it's not like it's not a research chemical. It's a real supplement, and nobody's using it yet. I can't believe they're not using it. So I really want to bring that to market before, so I get that first mover mobility, because that solidifies who we are in the space. We're always looking for new ingredients. Not to backtrack from what you guys are saying, but like, you know, in the beginning when everybody was using DMAA for the main drivers, I was using DMHA, and they were like, oh, the products are weak. They weren't even looking at them because there was a stimulant that was like king, right? This was like a drug to me, though. I was like, this is too much. When I found the DMHA and I launched with that 5+ years ago, like that product is still sustained today. There was only like 2 or 3 guys using it, and those brands aren't around anymore. So like that goes to show, like I said, this is a better product. I want people to go to the gym and feel good. So as far as products go, we do have a really clean, unique wellness line that we're getting ready to start leaking out. We have some sports nutrition stuff in the works as well. We're working on, you know, a sleep aid formula. We're working on a water pill. We're working on another non-stim pump product without creatine in it, you know, something completely different. And we have a bunch of products like that, like sports nutrition-wise, in the works. But the setback was COVID this year. The COVID setback was just a mess. It's really just like, it was so hard to maintain inventory as it was. We had so many out-of-stock issues that, you know, the problem at hand was, you know, what do I do, man? How do I launch a new product when I don't have stock of the ones that I can't keep in stock? And that was an issue. And manufacturers weren't taking on new work. They weren't taking on new business. So you saw a lot of guys complaining, hey, I can't get manufactured. And then a lot of the small guys that only order 144s and 288s, they were getting dropped like a bad habit. You know, when we do runs, we're doing some of these runs are in the 20, 30,000 units for some of the main drivers now, which is a lot from where we started, you know, from 1,000 units. So, you know,
quite a bit of growth there.
Yeah, it's a big jump. We have a lot of things in the works. Like I said, I'm always open to athlete feedback. I know you guys picked a couple of products that you wanted to see, you know, but I think we're going to drop some cool stuff and just get the core line solidified. And once that's solidified with the, you know, the wellness and everything else, what we'll do is like, you know, I always want to be on the innovation side of things. Like, what's really new? How can we do it? I remember talking to like Jared Wheat like years ago that got owner from High Tech, and I was trying to come up with like a transdermal growth hormone patch, like something that you put on like, the inside of your arm, and that like you go to sleep at night and it releases over like 7 or 8 hours with all growth hormone ingredients to increase growth hormone. But then, you know, you learn, he's like, oh, well, that's not a dietary supplement anymore. That's like considered a pharmaceutical drug, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
We want to be on that side of the supplement line where people are chasing our tail. You know,
you're the pioneer. You're the pioneer of it, right?
Yeah. So it's just hard to do that. You got to get the base, though. You know, we can see the future. We know where we want to be, but we just got to get there.
Yeah. Before we let you get out of here, what's like your baby product, like the product that you're most proud of that obviously you formulated and came up with? Like, what's your holy grail that you've created?
Yeah, I'm going to say the Convict, man. I'm going to say the Convict. You know, the arson was hard for me because when I was in the store selling fat burners, dude, they just would wring my fucking ear out. I would turn blotchy and fucking red, and I just didn't feel good taking them. When I formulated arson, I put a lot of time into that product, and I brought it to the market. And I didn't want people to feel like they were on ecstasy or having a heart attack when they're taking it. I didn't want people to like – but I also want to have fat-burning ingredients on there, right? Like, no, like I'm looking at the fat burners in the market, and I'm like, it's loaded with yohimbine. It has niacin, the pre-workouts with the beta-alanine where you're itching like you have fleas. Like, no, dude, we wanted to put out good products. That's why I lowered the beta-alanine to 2,500. It was still effective, but it wasn't overwhelming in that area. I wanted people to feel good. So arson, I probably spent the most time on, and that product has not really changed except for when you had to take NoPep out and put vincopatine in there. But other than that, the product's been the same product, and it's been a #1 selling product to the point where that's one product. We do 30,000 unit runs of arson. You know, that's a lot.
Right, but what I was saying, like, what formula are you most proud of? So not necessarily like the best performing product.
Yeah.
But like, what are you the most proud of? Like, I made this. Like, this is fucking cool.
Well, so Convict is going to be my favorite, but
gotcha. I missed that part. Sorry.
To me, was going to be the Human Slim, because I'm type 1 diabetic, and I used a lot of these products, you know, synergistically, but on an individual level. Like I put them together myself and took these things before my shows before my carb meals. And the thing with that product, and everybody can say what they're doing now, everybody has an insulin product and GDA, and they all talk their shit. But we did something that nobody else was doing, like we've done with all our products. And DNA Dispatch the same. You know, when I added that digestive enzyme complex in there, I gave you a 2-for-1 product. Those digestive enzymes are responsible for breaking down carbs, starches, and sugars. Like, we can't make insulin in a pill form like that.
Yeah, no way.
I knew I couldn't make it that, but like I said, well, what does insulin do? What does it do? How does it work? Okay, so how can I check some of these boxes that correlate to some of those effects? But they're never going to be that. You know that. Like, they're not going to, you know.
Yeah.
So what I did was when I added that digestive enzyme complex in there, and then I gave you all your GDAs and your insulin mimetics and, you know, those things, like, that got the food out of the stomach. And, you know, it allowed the food to go where it's got to go and start to do where it has to do, whether it break down, go to the muscles to replenish glycogen. And you got these guys on all these, you know, supplement brands with formulators and masters. Like, nobody thought of this before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing with DNA Dispatch. Everybody puts vasodilation shit in there to open up the bloodstream. When we loaded it with Pico 2, I knew that was going to cost oxygen. What's oxygen going to cost? Movement. It's going to move the blood. It's going to cause the nutrient. And I took cordyceps mushrooms back in the day when nobody really knew what they were. This is before any of the On It brand or anything like that. I took it by itself. And when we launched Convict, I actually had cordyceps in there from a guy that I had cultivate them and send the kilos to my manufacturer. He was like, yo, what's? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to send you this. Nobody has this. Because when they grind cordyceps up a lot of the time with the wood that they grow it on, they grind that up in there too. So you're getting a lot of fluff inside the product. They didn't just cultivate the fruiting body. So when I got the fruiting body, got in there, like the first thing I started noticing, you'll get like a little bit of a nasal drip sometimes. That, like, the oxygen is blowing to the nose. It's becoming a bronchial dilator, and it's opening you up. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a clenbuterol type like thing like that. So once you get that opening up, that breathing, more oxygen means more blood flow, more nutrients to the muscles, better pumps, faster recovery. And we did that with DNA Dispatch. Nobody has done that in all the supplements I've ever sold. I've seen people do that after us. I've never seen anybody doing that. So when I looked at the way I broke down the formulas before I formulate was I had like my own special thing. Like, okay, what is this product? What does it do? How could we do that? Sometimes you had to be creative, right? You had to do it from different perspectives, not a cookie cutter or one size fits all. You know, and that's what we did. Let me put this in the chart again. Yeah, so that was so Humuslim to me has the most value and meaning because it was something that I truly stood by because I took these products.
Yeah.
I'm type 1 diabetic. I checked my blood sugar on the product, and I've seen them to work. And then adding the digestive, thing in there is just an added benefit to the consumer. We're going to upgrade the formula and put a berberine in there. It's in the works right now. I'm going to leak it, and I'm probably going to give a little bit of might turn it into 3 pills, so it'll be in a little bit of a bigger bottle, which will be cool to get some bigger shelf space. But we're working on that as we speak now as well. So product leak, but if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? That's what everybody says. No, it's been years. Sometimes there's things coming out in the market now. So we could take an existingly great product that sells itself, and if we can make it better at Condemned Labz, we're going to do it to make it better because somebody else will do it if we don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I don't have that if it's not broke, don't fix it model. Hey, just leave it alone. No, because you know what? That's when the competition gets you. So so we're going to make sure we're going to upgrade that product a little bit. But that product is, one of my heart, I have my heart in there, and I know it works, and that, I stand behind that, and I stand on all the products, with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which we have very little returns, if any. And a convict, like, to get to the gym, man, when I own the supplement store, the number one thing when people come in the door would be they needed energy. They lacked energy. That was the number one from my analytical data in my head. People needed energy to get to the gym. And then, we would give them, we knew energy was something. So that's where Convict Stim was born. We wanted to give them Stim, but we didn't want it to be driven in the Stim department where it was just Stim. Like, you need a pump as well. So we try to counterbalance, pump products with some Stim products to give you the best of both worlds,
Definitely.
Awesome.
I like it.
Well, we've gone over quite a bit here. I think we've accomplished what we set out to do, which is kind of get a good idea of who you are and what you do, and just so people can put more of a meaning behind the name, because I know a lot of people know the name, they know who it is and what he does, but now they have a better understanding of how everything came along. So we appreciate you taking the time and talking to us and letting us in on all that. So yeah, we tons of great information that we found out. Is there anything that you want to wrap up with or add in there before you get off?
Yeah, you guys, I want you guys to plug when could we look forward to, I appreciate the kind words. When could we look forward to hearing these? Maybe we can get a consistent set day where we're going to hold ourselves accountable so we could drop a new podcast, right? Where can they hear this? And yeah, man, like I appreciate you guys taking the bull by the horns, running with it, taking the initiative. It means a lot to me, and, giving me the platform back. I'm a little bit more of a behind the scenes guy. I like to remain in the shadows. I always want the brand to be in front of Michael, not Michael in front of the brand. Like I said before, you look at my bio, there's never been a CEO or a, president or, any of that. Titles are at the door. So, I appreciate you guys giving me the platform and even asking me these questions. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're dialing in. I was waiting to join the chat. I was a little nervous, man. I'm like, I haven't been asked some of these questions in 5 years. Like, hey,
Right.
Where did you start the brand? Where did Condemned come from? In my head, I'm like, fuck, where did it come from? I forgot. Like, it's been so long that what's going on with this guy? These products had to come from this manufacturer. I owe this one X amount. So that, all of a sudden you start to lose yourself in the journey. And I think it's really important that you step back and look at the canvas every once in a while. One, to maybe toot your own horn and pat yourself on the back. Wow, look how far you've came, even if it's not as far as you wanted to go. But two, remind yourself. And that's why I get on the road with John sometimes. Just step foot in supplement stores and keep myself relevant. Dude, I go in supplement stores with John every once in a while. Well, they never have owners come in there. No owners go in the stores. They don't look at the stores. They don't see them. And when they see me come in the store with John sometimes, well, one, I'm going there for my own personal benefit. Two, I like to be in there negotiating, but it keeps me live. It keeps me in the action. It keeps me as a boots on the ground guy. It keeps me hungry. It keeps me somewhat humble, but it also allows me to know what's going on in the industry. And that's where I don't lose my edge. It keeps me on point, So with that being said, I appreciate you guys doing that for me, man. You keep pulling me out of my shell. And I'm really happy to see what the show's going to evolve into. I think you guys are going to be really good getting guests on. You guys both are going to have your own ways, like a Batman and Robin type duel where, one asks the good cop, bad cop, one kind of asks the questions, and then maybe the other one's a little bit, more professional or funny, whatever. You guys will find your own identities as you go along with it too. And I'm glad you guys are into it because you guys are really, you guys are some of my best athletes on the team, across the board. So I couldn't have two better guys up for the job. And I'm looking to help you guys out in any way, shape, or I can to, help this evolutionize something big.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, giving us a platform to work off of for sure. Because, obviously, you need a platform to work off of, and that you kind of took that aspect out of it. So, you gave us a platform to work off of. So, we're excited to see where it goes from there. With that being said, Michael, thank you for your time. We'll probably have you on again. There's other stuff that we can touch on business wise, supplement wise, because we could go on for days over here, but we just wanted to bring you on, kind of give everybody an introduction on who you are and what you do. So we appreciate that. And, we'll be talking to you shortly.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Everybody, just make sure you follow for updates, sign up for the email blast. We're going to be blasting these podcasts out email blast. I know this one's a little long. You guys might want to cut this into 2 segments, part 1, part 2, or, I don't know how you guys want to do it or run it through. It's a little long, but I got a lot of information out there. Next time we'll do is we'll pick a topic, a little bit short,
topic,
detailed, then we'll drill into it. And if I'm prepped properly and I give myself enough time, I'll be able to give a lot more detail in a short period of time, because I really believe my best value right now is for the entrepreneur. Now, I can't teach you guys how to bodybuild, and I'm obviously not in the space the way I was, from that aspect. But as far as entrepreneurial and growing a business, from 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures, and dealing with a lot of the trouble and hardship, still while it's fresh in my head, I feel like I could jump on here and help a lot of other people out.
Yes, definitely. That's going to be a huge topic that I'm sure both of us would love to talk to you about, the more entrepreneur side and the growing of the business rather than just, bodybuilding and supplements. So that's definitely something we're going to do. Isaac, go and stay on. We'll wrap up the show. We'll tell everybody where to listen and everything like that. So we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Do I just hang up now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. Be good.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
See you later. Woo!
It's a good one.
Yeah, that was a lot of information. There was a lot of stuff that I found out that I didn't know about.
I got thirsty there, dude. This was going. It was long. It was good though.
Yeah, there was a lot of information there that definitely, even with us, with how long we've been around, that I didn't know about. So that was definitely a good one. Yeah. With that being said, drop the magic 4 on them.
Like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Like, subscribe, comment, and share. How about we make things more interesting? You do all 4 of those things. Send myself or Isaac a DM, and we'll put you guys in a drawing to win some free supplements. Every week we'll give away something. If you like, comment, subscribe, and share.
And cool. What did we agree on? Was it every Thursday we want to start dropping a new episode?
We could do every Tuesday, every Thursday. I'll have it ready by Tuesday. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So every Tuesday. Boom. Done. Yeah. So every Tuesday we'll be releasing new episodes, new guests. So I will be talking to everybody. We have a few more guests already lined up in the works, so that's coming. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Any final words, Isaac?
Oh man, I am. I'm hungry, so I'm ready to eat again.
He's going hype on us. Isaac is going hype on us. That means we got to cut. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man.
See ya.